Get ready, because the moment we've been sensing, the one we've been moving toward, it's finally here. You're not just witnessing another week. You're standing on the edge of a threshold, one that divides everything that was from everything that is about to become. History isn't just being written, it's unfolding right in front of you. And the extraordinary truth is, most people won't even realize it happening. They'll move through these days as if they're ordinary, unaware that the choices they make now will echo into the rest of the year, shaping not just outcomes but identities. From August 3rd to August 10th, something deeper has been set in motion, something orchestrated, something intentional. This is not just another wave of energy. It's not another seasonal spiritual event that comes and goes without consequence. This week has been architected with purpose. Imagine it like a living maze, one that only reveals itself to those who are truly ready to see. If you felt a pressure building, a sense of subtle direction calling you inward, then you're already standing at its entrance. You're not here by chance. You're here by design. There is a spiritual geometry to this time. You can feel it in your body. The air feels heavier, yes, but also charged, as if every breath you take is infused with unseen instructions. The stillness isn't empty. It's watching. It's aware. And it's asking something from you. Not performance, not perfection, but alignment. This week isn't demanding you prove yourself to anyone else. It's quietly demanding that you remember who you are and act in accordance with that remembrance. Missing this window is not just missing a moment. It's missing a recalibration that won't come around again in this exact form. This week is one of those rare spiritual crossings. What you choose to carry forward will shape how you live out the rest of 2025. And what you leave behind, what you refuse to face or choose to release, will define the weight you no longer have to bear. This isn't about timelines or productivity. It's about soul trajectory. And there's a reason why this week feels so charged. That weight pressing on your spirit, it isn't anxiety. It isn't your imagination. It's energetic gravity. This is the sensation of something unseen trying to break through your field, pushing up against everything that's in the way. You're not just living through a powerful week, you're standing inside a spiritual convergence, a pressure chamber where everything sharpens, your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your shadows. August 8th is the peak of the Lion's Gate portal, a time historically associated with cosmic insight, transformation, and rebirth. Normally, that date alone carries intense energy. But this year, the portal is more than just open. It's pulsing, charged, and activated to a degree that magnifies whatever you bring to it. Your clarity, your confusion, your avoidance, your desires. It all gets amplified. And just when you think that's the climax, the energy keeps surging. There is no pause, no breath. Just an ongoing acceleration that will either push you deeper into alignment or send you spinning into your own resistance. That IT feels like pressure because it is. A sacred squeeze. A cosmic compression point. And in that squeeze, every little choice starts to matter more. That quick text you send out of habit. That emotion you suppress instead of confronting. That conversation you avoid, thinking you'll deal with it later. These are not small things. This week turns seemingly minor decisions into energetic contracts. The universe isn't responding to your declarations right now. It's responding to your patterns, your silences, your daily defaults. What you avoid doesn't stay paused. It integrates into your path. And if you're sensitive, if you're spiritually tuned in, you're already feeling this. Some people will start to disconnect, not because they don't care, but because the weight of this moment will be too much. They'll slip into autopilot, claiming they're going with the flow, when really they're surrendering their direction. They'll hand over their power not with drama, but with quiet fatigue. Others will mask avoidance with spiritual language. They'll call it surrender, call it elevation, but it's really just escape wrapped in sacred vocabulary. They'll light candles, say affirmations, but they won't look in a mirror. They'll curate their vibe while avoiding their truth. And that's okay. It's part of the process, but it won't hold up in this particular portal. Not this time. Before we move ahead in the video, I want to let you know that if you've gained even a little value from my efforts, please consider donating through Super Thanks or via PayPal. It really helps motivate and inspire us to keep going. And then there's a third kind of person, a smaller group. The ones who choose to sit in the fire of truth, even when it burns. The ones who refuse to lie to themselves anymore, even if it costs them comfort, relationships, or certainty. They're raw. They're uncertain, but they're awake. And that awakening, that's the real power. Once you see clearly, you can't unsee. Once you step into integrity, you can't pretend again, not without feeling it in your bones. This week isn't about announcing your transformation. It's about quietly choosing it. No trumpet sounds, no audience, just you and the mirror of your own behavior. That's how the future is shaped, not through intention alone, but through action, choice by choice, breath by breath. So, while the world moves erratically, while others grasp for stability in the noise, you're being called to stay grounded. Not loud, not performative, rooted. This is your moment not to command a storm, but to become the calm within it. There's a strange kind of spiritual magnetism forming right now, not around the ones who are trying to control the chaos, nor the ones running from it, but around the ones who are fully present inside of it. And that presence, that deep, calm embodiment of truth, it's becoming magnetic. People may start to lean toward you, not because you're louder or more visible, but because your stillness holds weight. Because you don't need to speak to be heard. You don't need to be seen to be felt. That kind of energy cannot be faked. And in a week like this, it changes everything. So if you feel pulled to retreat, to go inward, to move slower, or to listen more closely, honor that. This isn't a week for rushing. It's a week for remembering. For choosing again and again to stay connected to your own path, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard, the right things will find their way to you, not because you chase them, but because you've become anchored enough to be unmistakable in their path. There is a subtle magnetism that forms when you choose stillness, not out of passivity, but from a deeper place of presence and self-trust. In a world where noise is currency and speed is worshipped, your quiet confidence will become your loudest message. You won't need to explain it, prove it, or defend it. Your energy will say what words never could. This isn't about stillness for its own sake. It's not just about being calm. It's about becoming immovable in your truth so that the things meant for you, opportunities, people, ideas, alignments, can recognize you instantly. When you are rooted, you become a landmark in the spiritual terrain. You stop floating. You stop wavering. You become a fixed point that the right forces can navigate toward without confusion. And yet, this week presents the quiet danger. A kind of energetic trap disguised as innocent observation. It starts small. You're feeling clear, maybe even in a good rhythm. You've been doing the inner work, aligning your mind and your movement. But then it happens, just a glance, a scroll, a whisper of insecurity. You see someone else's progress, their wins, their speed, their sparkle, and it begins to tug at your self-trust. You start wondering, should I be there by now too? This is how comparison begins. Gently, almost invisibly, but its impact is sharp. It's not just a distraction. It's a spiritual leak. It drains your clarity. It disrupts your field. And in a week like this, where the energy is already dense, focused, and precise, you cannot afford to scatter your power that way. Because here's the deeper truth. Whatever you feed this week multiplies. Energy doesn't just respond to what you say. It responds to what you notice, what you believe, what you envy, what you doubt. When you allow comparison in, even subtly, it becomes a signal to the universe that you are more attuned to someone else's blueprint than your own. And the universe, ever responsive, will shift to match that. Your timeline gets diluted. Your desires lose traction. You start attracting through lack rather than wholeness. This is why it's so important right now to stay in your own field. Not just metaphorically, but energetically. You have to hold your space so cleanly that nothing foreign, nothing false, can slip in through the cracks. Every time you glance at someone else's path and question your own, you unintentionally pause your progress. You slow the flow of what's meant for you, because you've started tuning into noise instead of listening to the silence within. So the work this week isn't to move faster. It's to move truer. You don't need to react to the chaos around you. You need to listen to the instructions coming from within you. Let the world shout. Let others race. Let the performance continue elsewhere. You don't need to join it. You're building something rooted, something that doesn't need to be loud to be real. This week, you may notice the spiritual stage getting crowded. The air is thick with declarations, manifesting rituals, vision board updates, loud proclamations of what's coming next. And yes, some of it is real, but much of it is performance. Sparkle does not equal substance, and not everything that glows this week will grow. Some of the most powerful activations right now are happening in near silence, behind closed doors, inside people who are not broadcasting their every insight but instead living them. August 8th, the peak of the Lion's Gate portal, is at the heart of this week's energy. It's not new. Every year, we talk about the 8-8 portal, the alignment of the Earth and Sirius, the numerology of abundance and power. It's always been a portal for manifesting and expansion. But this year is different. The stakes are higher. The charge is heavier. This is not a doorway that gently opens to your desires. This is a pressure point, a test of frequency, a divine checkpoint asking, are your intentions clean? Are they true? Are they yours? This year, the portal doesn't just ask you what you want. It asks who you've become. And what you're creating will only sustain if it's born from authenticity. Manifesting from ego, fear, or trend will crumble. Anything initiated from lack will lose energy quickly. But if you've done the work to clear your field, to come home to yourself, to move from truth instead of urgency, this portal will carry your intentions further than you thought possible. The energies you play with this week don't dissipate, they solidify. Thoughts become trajectories. Desires turn into maps. Choices become contracts. Intentions set now carry a kind of stickiness, a spiritual gravity. You may find that what you name, what you write down, what you dare to declare, begins to move toward you faster than ever. But this acceleration comes with a twist. You will also be tested before the real manifestations arrive. Imitations will come first. You'll be offered mirrors, reflections, versions of your dreams that are close, but not true. And your ability to discern, not just what you want, but what aligns will shape how far this portal actually opens for you. This is where clarity becomes currency. This is where self-trust is non-negotiable. So if you are manifesting this week, don't do it to impress. Don't do it to keep up. Don't do it because someone else said now is the time. Do it because your soul is ready. Because you've stopped seeking and started knowing. Speak your vision aloud. Write it as if it's already part of your story. See it, feel it, and then walk like it's already unfolding, because it is. But not because the portal is magic. Because your alignment is, and yet August 8th is not the end. Just when the portal peaks, another surge follows. The full moon rises right after, an energetic aftershock to everything stirred up by the Lion's Gate. It doesn't come to gently close the door. It comes to illuminate what's left. The patterns, the doubts, the final threads that haven't yet burned away. You'll be given one more massive opportunity to release what's outgrown and to affirm, with your actions, what you're truly ready to step into. This week is not just about intention. It's about embodiment. You don't get what you want because you ask for it. You get what you align with, what you're willing to meet in the middle, what you're willing to clear space for, what you're brave enough to receive. So hold your energy with care. Don't scatter it on comparison. Don't waste it on distractions disguised as alignment. Tune inward. Stay rooted. Be still, not out of fear, but because you finally realized you don't have to run after what's already on its way. Everything that stirred in you on August 8th, all the clarity, all the intention, all the deep-rooted desires you dared to name, this is where it starts to become real. The full moon that follows on August 9th is not a separate event, not a conclusion, but a continuation. It's the grounding force that begins to shape what the portal revealed. This moon doesn't merely highlight what's in your way. It begins to dissolve it, to lift it, to clear it from your energetic field. But only if you're willing to release. Only if you allow it to. This is a moon of magnification. Whatever has been stirred by the Lion's Gate doesn't settle. It intensifies. If you move through the portal with clear intention and an honest heart, this moon will pour emotional power into that vision. It will give it wings. But if confusion lingered, if your desires were foggy or borrowed from someone else's truth, those cracks will surface quickly, sometimes painfully. And that's not a punishment. That's a blessing. The moon doesn't just shine light. It scrubs the walls of your inner world. It asks for honesty. And if you give it that, even through discomfort, it will leave you clearer than it found you. If you lean in, if you surrender instead of resisting, this full moon can initiate a quiet but radical shift in your emotional frequency. It won't always come with fanfare. You may not even be able to explain it. But suddenly, something that once pulled you down will no longer have a grip on you. It will feel like a thread has been cut. An invisible tie that used to drain your strength, your focus, your joy. Suddenly, it's no longer there. And in its absence, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel sovereign. You'll feel like your energy finally belongs wholly to you again. This is your moment to let go, not of the obvious chaos, but of the subtle habits that quietly sabotage your alignment. The recurring inner dialogue you've been too familiar with to notice. The emotional debt of unresolved conversations you've kept replaying in your head. The lingering grudge you've convinced yourself doesn't matter anymore. These aren't loud disruptions, but they're slow leaks. In this moon, it's your invitation to name just one. And let it go. Let it go not for the sake of peace alone, but because your future can't fully land in a field cluttered with outdated attachments. As you release, your signal becomes cleaner, sharper, more magnetic. The intentions you planted under the lion's gate begin to accelerate. You won't need to push them. They begin moving on their own because the resistance is no longer there. Momentum becomes organic. You don't chase it. You become the space where it naturally gathers, and in this way, you become the bridge between vision and manifestation. You are the in-between. You are the fertile ground. If the portal was about planting, this moon is about sealing the energy in a way that roots it into your reality. And once that energy is sealed, things begin to unfold with almost eerie precision. You stop feeling like you're waiting for your future. You start feeling like you've caught up to it. Like it's already been here, just waiting for you to arrive. And in all of this, there's something else moving quietly beneath the surface. Between August 3rd and 10th, there's a second assignment, unspoken, mostly unseen. It's not about your own expansion. It's about your presence. Someone in your orbit, someone close or distant, someone you talk to every day or haven't spoken to in years, is quietly unraveling. Not in dramatic breakdown. Not in a public collapse. But internally, silently. A private disconnection, invisible to the casual observer. You might not even notice it with your eyes. But if you're energetically sensitive, you'll feel it. It might come as a strange message. A sudden shift in tone. A delay that feels off. A voice note that carries more weight than words. And in that moment, you'll know this isn't just small talk. This is someone reaching from a place they don't know how to name. You're not being asked to fix them. You're not being asked to carry them. But you are being called to anchor. To hold steady. To be the kind of presence that doesn't panic, doesn't overreact, doesn't try to solve what isn't yours to solve. Sometimes healing isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about not rushing to fill the silence. It's about being a still mirror when someone else feels like they're breaking into pieces. You might not get recognition for this role. You won't hear the words, "You saved me." You won't be celebrated for being the calm in someone else's storm. But that's not why you're here. You're here because your alignment has gravity. You're here because your groundedness makes it safe for others to come back to their own. In a moment when they forget how to hold themselves, your stillness becomes a frequency they can remember. And even if they never tell you, they'll move differently after that encounter. And that will be your sign. This is part of the deeper responsibility that comes with being energetically attuned. Your journey is not just for you. It ripples. It stabilizes the collective. It lifts the frequency of spaces you enter, even when no one notices. Your calm isn't just for your peace, it's someone else's lifeline. Your truth-telling might be someone else's moment of clarity. Your choice to stay present might remind someone they're not too far gone after all. There will be odd, fleeting moments this week, moments where it feels like something flicked a switch inside your body. You may be dragging, foggy, overstimulated, or emotionally heavy. And then, without warning, a sudden lightness floods your system. Your vision sharpens. The fatigue vanishes like it was never there. Your whole body feels awake, alert, available. These micro-moments are not accidents. They're not just mental resets. They are spiritual confirmations. And the wild part is they don't arrive when you're resting. They come right after you make a hard but honest choice. They come when you say no to the thing you always tolerated. When you speak the truth you used to hide. When you break a pattern with grace instead of guilt. When you send love instead of bitterness. These moments of sudden energetic clarity are not random. They're the universe responding instantly to your alignment. They are signs that your field is adjusting in real time, that you are syncing with something higher. This is not about performing your growth. It's about living it when no one is watching. It's about trusting that your quiet choices are creating loud changes. That your energy, when held with integrity, becomes an atmosphere, a medicine, a map for others. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to remember it. And in remembering, you naturally lead others back to their OWN.SO. Stay grounded. Stay available. Don't rush the unfolding. Don't force the outcome. The work you've done is not going unseen. The intentions you've set are still traveling. And the moon will do what it always does: reflect, reveal, and release. Let go of the blame. Not because it's easy, not because it's fair, but because blame is a chain that keeps your energy looped in the past. Releasing it isn't weakness, it's power reclaimed. And once that weight is lifted, you begin to see things with sharper clarity. The boundary you once hesitated to hold becomes non-negotiable. You stop analyzing every angle of a situation and simply act, grounded in your own clarity. That's when it hits. That's when something internal, something real and electric begins to move. It's not a random spark. It's not coincidence. It's energy following alignment. It's your nervous system responding to truth like a plant turning toward light. Fatigue is often misunderstood. So many think it's a physical issue when, in reality, it's frequently spiritual. It's the weariness that comes from betraying your own knowing too many times. Every time you compromise what feels true, your spirit takes the hit. And every time you step toward honesty, even in a small, subtle way, you feel an immediate return. It's not always loud. It might just be a moment of calm, a breath that lands fully in your body, a sudden lift in your thoughts. But it's real. These surges, these spontaneous recharges of clarity and vitality, they're not mysterious. They're feedback. They're your system's way of saying, yes, that was it. Do more of that, so don't dismiss them. When they come, pause. Note it. Pay attention. What just happened? What boundary did you honor? What truth did you finally admit to yourself? What weight did you set down? These micro moments of clarity are keys, tiny energetic passwords that reveal how to return to yourself over and over. And if you start to track them, you'll see a pattern. You'll begin to understand how to access alignment on command, not as a reward after burnout, but as a rhythm you can live by. The recharges, the renewals, they're tucked all throughout this week like hidden blessings. But you have to slow down enough to see them. If you're too busy chasing energy, you'll miss where it's naturally showing up. When you stop reaching and start choosing from your center, life stops resisting you. The power flows in because you've made room for it. And all this, these quiet corrections and inner movements, they begin to ripple out into the way the world sees you. That's one of the hidden gifts of this week, one most people won't even recognize while it's happening. There's a recalibration unfolding, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive you. It often begins subtly. One clear choice, one honest conversation, one small act of self-respect that reverberates in every direction, and then almost instantly, reality responds. A person who once overlooked you begins to listen, not out of obligation, but out of genuine presence. Someone who treated your softness as weakness starts adjusting their tone. Or perhaps someone who once resonated with an older version of you begins to pull away, not because you've done something wrong, but because they no longer match the energy you've risen out of. That isn't a loss. That's energetic housekeeping. That's the universe cleaning up the space around the new you. You'll start to notice it not just in behavior, but in the way people feel around you. Some will lean in, drawn to a frequency they didn't expect from you. Others will flinch, uncertain of where they now stand. Let them. Because this isn't about forcing anyone to keep up. It's about letting your reality reshape around your upgraded identity. And the biggest transformation? It won't come from the outside at all. It'll rise quietly from within. One day this week, you'll catch yourself in the middle of a thought, or standing in front of a mirror, or walking into a room, and realize, I'm not that version of me anymore. The identity you've been unconsciously wearing, stitched together from outdated roles, people-pleasing patterns, and beliefs you inherited but never questioned, just won't fit. And instead of fearing that shift, you'll feel a strange sense of recognition. Like you're not becoming someone new at all, but finally returning to who you've always been. That's the power of alignment. When the inner frequency upgrades, the outer world rushes to catch up. The opportunity now is whether you'll resist that shift or rise with it. When it begins, don't shrink. Don't downplay it. Don't apologize for evolving. The universe is handing you a new level, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. Accept it. Walk into it. Let yourself be seen in your fullness, without needing to armor up or add disclaimers, because what's unfolding now isn't just a spiritual realignment, it's a visibility upgrade. Your credibility, your presence, your influence, it's all being amplified. But not for show, for impact. And if you carry that presence with integrity, not ego, you'll discover something profound. People start shifting around you before you even speak. Your energy leads now, and the world follows. This isn't just about attention. It's about resonance. The way you hold yourself now becomes a signal, a declaration. Not through words, but through essence. And that signal is opening doors, softening resistance, and quietly redrawing the boundaries of what's possible for you. Perception itself becomes a portal this week. Not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. And that portal invites you to step through. Or to stand still and pretend nothing's changed. But know this week isn't casual. It doesn't tolerate indecision. It doesn't reward passivity. You can't coast and hope something magical happens. That energy, it's outdated here. You'll fall behind if you try to float. This is not a time to sit back and observe. If you hesitate too long, the moment passes. If you wait for someone to hand you permission, you'll still be waiting when the gates close. This week is watching for those who act on their own becoming. Reality is listening more closely than usual, not to your words, but to your movements. It's studying the courage in your choices, the energy behind your no, the conviction in your yes, because this week isn't looking for perfection. It's looking for truth, for boldness that doesn't need approval. For people who are willing to move before they're fully ready, speak before they're completely certain, and stand tall before they're given validation. The structure is shifting. The timeline is updating. The only question left is whether you'll rise with it or retreat into the comfort of what no longer matches you. This moment, this space and time, is not asking for your perfection. It's not inviting you to be polished or polite. It is calling for your presence, real, embodied, rooted presence. The kind that speaks not because it's rehearsed, but because it can't be silenced anymore. The systems in your life, both the ones inside you and the ones you're surrounded by, are moving. They're either bending toward your deepest truth or drifting further away from it. There's no more in between. Not this week. Everything, your relationships, your ambitions, your inner conversations, the way you speak, the way you show up to your own reflection, is now being recalibrated. And the truth is, you're either stepping forward into the next version of yourself, or you're shrinking back to preserve the story you've already outgrown. This week will make it impossible not to see which path you're on. It will expose it not to shame you, but to invite you back into alignment. You can't pretend your way through this. The energy won't allow it. You'll either move boldly, grounded in your integrity, or you'll start fading into the background of your own life. And that is perhaps the most painful place to be. Not rejected, not unseen by others, but forgotten by yourself. This isn't a time for being palatable. This isn't a time to be careful. This is a time to be unmistakably real, to be undeniable in your truth. There's a sacred kind of selfishness required now, one that has nothing to do with ego and everything to do with protection. Your energy is not infinite. Your presence is not disposable. Sacred selfishness means tending to yourself as if the universe depends on your alignment, because it does. It's not about ignoring others. It's about refusing to abandon yourself for the comfort of others. It's about knowing that sometimes love means holding your ground, not dissolving into someone else's needs. This week, the rule is simple. Visibility becomes velocity. The more you show up, not as a curated persona or a version of yourself designed to be liked, but as the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are, the faster the energy around you will begin to organize in your favor. This window, this portal, isn't waiting for the perfect. It's responding to the present. The bold. The ones who have stopped waiting for a sign and started becoming one. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't made to echo someone else's convictions. You are not here to be an understudy in your own life. You are the lead, the writer, the spark. The Lionsgate energy doesn't respond to hesitation or timid waiting. It opens for those who walk as if the future has already nodded yes. As if the life you long for is already holding its hand out, waiting for you to meet it halfway. So pause and ask yourself, if you were already chosen, already aligned, already becoming the version of you that your spirit whispers about when the world gets quiet, how would you show up right now? What words would you speak that you've been swallowing? What decisions would you make that you've been delaying? What would you release without ceremony or apology? This isn't theoretical. This is the choice in real time. This is the fork in the road you don't get to plan for. For those who've been watching the signs, waiting for clarity, hoping for a green light, this is the green light. But it only becomes real if you move as though it is. If you treat this week like just another blur in time, it will blur past you. But if you step into it like it matters, if you treat it like the invitation it is, the universe will meet you in ways that you can't even yet imagine. The truth is, if you shrink this week, if you try to play small to stay safe, you'll disappear, not from the world, but from the field of alignment that's accelerating all around you. But if you show up, not perfectly, not fearlessly, but fully, then what has felt stuck will start to shift. You will be amplified, not because you're louder, but because you're finally aligned. This is not the week for overthinking. This is the week to activate. Not from a place of needing to be certain, but from a place of refusing to stay stuck. Say the thing you've been holding back. Do the thing your soul has been nudging you toward. Send a message. Make the move. Not because the timing is perfect, but because you're done waiting for timing to give you permission. You don't need more signs. You don't need more certainty. You need movement. You need to embody the frequency of the future you claim to want. Don't just survive this week. Don't just reflect and journal and process. That's not enough anymore. This is the time to stand. Stand in your vision. Stand in your truth. Interrupt your old self. Speak what hasn't been spoken. Do what hasn't been dared. Be so incredibly clear about where you're headed that the rest of your life starts to rearrange itself to match your direction. This week is not here to comfort you. It's here to reveal you. It's not here to help you feel safe. It's here to test whether you're ready to be seen without shrinking. It's not here to give you more time. It's here to ask whether you'll use the time you already have like it matters, and it does matter. So if you're still watching, still listening, still here with me, then know this, your attention is already part of your activation. You're already in the field. You're already receiving. Now you just have to choose what to do with it. If this message resonates, don't just let it be a moment. Let it become a movement within you. Let it echo in your choices, in your voice, in the way you walk forward. And if you feel called to keep this energy close, share it. Speak about it. Claim it out loud. Let the universe hear that you're awake, that you're aware, that you're ready. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you've decided to stop hiding in plain sight. This is your time. Not tomorrow. Not next cycle. No. So step up. Be seen. Move like your future is already listening, because it is, and it's not waiting forever.